I went to your house and it was after the bushfires, and I'm sure you remember this. You had so many. Can you tell the story of the pouches?
Oh my goodness. So my wife is an organizer of a craft guild that was doing things for rescue animals in the wild. So building, knitting, and crocheting and sewing things like koala mittens and kangaroo pouches for joeys, and all of these things that you can't buy, but you need when you're rescuing wild animals. And to start with, before the bushfires, there was 400 of them in this craft guild, and they never had enough stuff. And then the bushfires hit, and the Australian bushfires were in the media everywhere, and people found out that this craft guild existed and that these supplies were needed, and they were needed, but only to a point. And so inundated, my house was full to the brim with these things of varying levels of quality, whether they could be used. To this day, I still am like unpicking while watching TV, unpicking some of the things that were made, so that my wife could just use that as yarn to make other things. And they had to have the cost of storing it and everything like that. And like there definitely was some need, but the supply far exceeded what was actually needed, when it would have been helpful to give cash to to improve communities or everything like that. But even at that point, the response was nowhere near in line with what was needed. And then this cost was there to try and like deal with all of this stuff, and it was quite a time to be stuck in trying to like survive. And again, this thing is, this generosity is really to be lauded, and people really want this personal emotional connection. But we had people send towels from America to be used as fabric. I remember seeing $300 to send some old towels to Australia because they wanted to send physical stuff.
Wow.
Because they had somewhere on the craft guild that said you can use old towels to make joey patches and stuff like that. So I spent $300 in postage to come to send old towels to Australia, and I'm like, this is.
That's. Yeah, love.
And people want to be able to act. You want to really applaud that, the fact that people want to act, and like generosity is a really good thing. But what we try to do is help people think, okay, you got this generosity, how do we channel that to the things that are really going to help?
I think the best part of that story, I think you told me at the time, was that you'd actually taken down the address of the postal service because you didn't want people giving anything else, and then a Canadian website reposted your address so more people could send it. That was the best. Yeah, but you're right. It's all about redirecting the energy.
Yeah, and it also comes back to, is this from the mindset of what helps beneficiaries most? And we had a lot of people getting angry that the address had been taken down, or that we weren't accepting more supplies, and because they were thinking, I want to feel good about helping. And I want to, this sounds like a cool project. I'd love to make koala mittens. That sounds really cute. Like,
yeah.
And you're not letting me do this. And we're saying, look, your local animal shelter probably actually needs a bunch of things. Your local hospitals probably want toys, like you can crochet things that newborns can hold on to when they're in the incubators, and that they won't choke on, that they can comfort from. And there are all these craft projects you could do to help those nearer to you that don't have a huge postage cost to Australia and things like that. But again, there's this emotional response that is intuitive. I see this big thing and I want to be a part of it, as opposed to the neglected things. And the neglected things are the things that you can often have the most impact on.